respect the person who's asking the question. Don't talk, please. That's really helpful. In respect for the press conference. We're going to start with the UK media as always, and then we'll make questions available to the Pakistan media. Sonia interim, she is. Thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think another great game to be a part of. Completely different, conditions to the first Test match. But yeah, we adapted to those conditions, but we still stuck to the way in which we want to operate. And that's obviously a very pleasing thing, knowing that last week obviously was a very flat wicket, whereas this week was a challenging one, but we still went out and applied ourselves in the way in which we want to. But yeah, another game going down to the wire, but those are you want to play in games like that more than not. So another great week.
And you made the decision to bring in Mark Wood for this Test match and were rewarded for it this morning. How crucial were those wickets to break that partnership? Yeah, massive. You sort of look at where the game's going and how long's left in the session, and there was a few decisions I made, in which was, what type of bowling does the sort of batter not want to face at these times, and pretty sure I wouldn't want to be facing bouncers at 145 to 150 with 20 minutes left, even if I have faced as many balls as those two. So, that's what we picked him for, to come in and change the game and blow it open for us. So, it was an easy decision to make, to bring him home, but, for him to produce 2 wickets at such a crucial time for us was, a real game-changing moment. As I say, that's what we brought him into the team for, to do, to bowl fast and, just come on and change the game. And finally for me, we noticed you didn't bowl throughout the Test match. Are you fully fit and capable to bowl?
Yeah, I just honestly didn't feel that I personally would add sort of too much to what we had. Look at the way in which, especially the seamers bowled, and Robbo and Jimmy just incredible. The relentlessness with their line and lengths, even when it's not doing anything, again, was incredible. But then when we found that crack, those two are our most accurate bowlers, and they just kept on seeming to find it. And obviously it's going to be tough for batters to face that when it's going one way or the other. And then we got a little bit of reverse swing as well, so that brought our seamers back into it again. But I think Pakistan's game plan was to sort of sit in against our seamers and then look to attack the spin. So that was, a tactical reason as to why we bowled a lot more seam today than we did a spin, where you'd think that spin would play a big part on the last day of a Test match.
Thank you.
Here we go, Lawrence and then Dean.
Hi Ben, just wondered how much spirits were lifted by that late wicket from Leachy last night, and was there any moment during the chase when you thought it was getting slightly out of your control?
Yeah, I mean, when you take a wicket like that at the end of the day, when they build a big partnership, it's obviously a massive boost coming off at the end of the day, and you go to bed a little bit easier. But honestly, the only time where I was sort of thought that was when the young fella came out and started playing some big shots, because he got 12 in the game, and I was like, it's written in the stars for him. He's going to finish 30 not out, and be the next superstar in Pakistan cricket. So, but I always felt we were only just one wicket away, because it's a very tough wicket to come in and score on against seam, and obviously with the pressure of having to chase down a total adds to the pressure of going out and batting. So I always felt even when the runs were coming down and down, that we just one little wicket away from something happening here, and then obviously when it got to 8 down, you look at the scoreboard and you go, it's two balls. That's all this is going to take, and it's going to take a lot for them to chase the runs down.
Can I just ask about the wicket of Shakil just before lunch? Were you confident looking at the replays on the big screen that it was going to be given out? Was any doubt in your mind that hadn't carried it?
Only doubt was when you're out there waiting for a decision, the longer the third umpire takes to look at those decisions is when you start thinking that it might get overturned. But no doubt in my mind about that carrying. You see a lot of those decisions and those type of catches in cricket. I could say the sort of similar thing to when Ruti got caught short leg. You could say that might have touched the floor, but you just got to go with what the umpire's decision is, and Obviously it went our way, but I've been involved in a few decisions where stuff like that's gone against us, but you can't change it.
Dean and then Stefan.
Ben, it appeared that you're kind of riding a crest of a wave, 8 wins out of 9. Have you had any moment to kind of think about the magnitude of a series win in Pakistan? And don't come along very often, obviously, but over a period of history for an England side to do that, has it sort of dawned on you just what you've achieved thus far?
Yeah, coming into this game being 1-0 up before we even bowled the ball, I think we all understood that, what we could achieve before we started this game, and we're not naive in the fact of what we know we've achieved here, because we know how tough it is, not just for English teams to come here and win, but for any team. Pakistan are a huge threat in their own conditions, so not for 1 minute are we going to think that, oh no, it's just another Test series win. It's beating Pakistan, and Pakistan's massive. So no, we know what we've achieved. We know that it's a very special thing in English cricket to come here and win. So yeah, I think it was a strange feeling there, the celebration at the end winning the series, just because compared to last week, because just another thing, we've got this bug just floating around the dressing room, which we just can't seem to get rid of. And I think it was a sign of just how tired the lads were there, mentally and physically. So no, we know what we've achieved, and another great win for us.
And actually that kind of ties into the next question about Mark Wood. You talked obviously about trying to get him to blow the game open, which he did, but in terms of the kind of character, resilience, effort that was required for him to do the hard yards, bowling short is quite hard work, as you know. What does that say about him and his character, that he's not played a first-class game for 9 months and he can go and do that for you the first Test he plays?
Yeah, it's great, and I think what made it slightly easier for him coming into this game was the clarity in the role which he was going to play. We knew we had to use his assets of pace to our advantage, and we feel that the Pakistan batters don't tend to like it up top when you're bowling it short at them. So the decision to bring him on before lunch was to come on and do that, and use that to our advantage, and getting those two wickets of the blokes who were in and set was a massive time in the game for us, and took us into the lunch break on top of the game again.
Stefan, and we'll start taking some questions from the Pakistan media.
Ben, in the past, England have only ever won 2 Test matches away to Pakistan, whether that be here or in the UAE. You've won 2 in a week. What does that say about this particular group of players now, and what they could go on to achieve?
I think it says we're quite good, I think. And yeah, I think one thing we do is we just sort of stay in the moment, and as what does Leachy say? You just live where my shoes are, or something like that. Just always stay in the moment. Don't take this kind of stuff and this kind of form for granted, and always just keeping that the mantra of we're bigger than what we're actually doing at the moment. What we're trying to do is bigger than sort of results and all that kind of stuff, but obviously it massively helps when you are winning, and in the way in which we're winning. But yeah, the guys who I've got in the squad, from the guys who step out on the field to the guys who unfortunately miss out on selection, are all in it together, and we all really believe in what we're trying to do. So very, very special time to be an England cricketer.
The collapse yesterday morning, we know you want to be positive, but I'm sure you want to be ruthless as well. Could you have been more ruthless with the bat yesterday, and is that a lesson to take forward?
I wouldn't say it was a collapse. I'd just say it was not executing what we wanted to do, and that's fine. But no, it's one of those things. It's always easier to say something after it's happened, but we could have easily got to 400, 420, 430 lead playing in that way. We just didn't execute as well as we would have liked to.
Okay, Shaquille Eastry here on this side, and then we'll take some questions.
Hello Ben, Shafkat Shabir here from Crickwick. You talked about the tactical aspect of beating Pakistan, bringing on the bowlers, those bowling changes, and batting the way you people have been batting throughout the series and in this test match. I want to ask you about the psychological and mental aspect of the things. When you and the boys come up with the plan and push Pakistan in a corner, changing the fields, coming up with different bowling options, I mean, how much psychologically and mentally it took you to outwit and outfox Pakistan in this series, and especially in this test match?
No, I don't think so, because that's how I sort of like to do things with my captaincy, especially out here. Is, it's not something that I find hard to do in terms of changing different things. I don't read or think too much about it. It's just a very natural thing for me to do, to sort of look at different ways and over of how we're going to get a wicket. And part of that for me is maybe playing with the batter a little bit, about changing the field placings and keeping them sort of thinking what's going to come here. So no, I think that's just very natural for me to do as a captain.
And, congratulations for winning the match and winning the series. What are you feeling about the crowd of the and people of Multan, especially Pakistan? How are you feeling playing cricket in Pakistan? And my second question is, would you like to change your team in Karachi, or the same team will play in Karachi?
So yeah, coming here, we all knew and understood what cricket means to the people of Pakistan, and in both Test matches, I felt that the crowd has just enjoyed what they've been watching. Again, walking off the field here as as winners against the home team, I just felt as if we walked off to people just really appreciating what they'd seen again. A game, being won by 26 runs, going down to the wire, not knowing what's going to happen, if that's what the crowd and people want to see. They want to be on the edge of the seat. They want to not know what's going on. So, from the first Test match and this Test match as well, I think, Pakistan fans have just really, really enjoyed what they've seen, even though they obviously would have liked Pakistan to be 2-0 up, not England. And yeah, I'll tell you the team when we go to the next spot.
Ben Wasim Shehzad here from 24 News. First of all, many congratulations to your team that you play very well, and also you proved that England is your national game. But if I talk about your Braden Mackham, who was your, you can say, coach, what's the thing and what's the reason behind it? What's the thing that tells Braden to you your team is unbeatable in both of the series? And what's your expectations about next coming, you are playing in Karachi? And also, what's thing that you think the Pakistani team also have to be improved? And also, the last question is to you: do you think that Pakistan is safe?
One question, please.
The one question is to you: do you think that Pakistan is safe for cricket? Recently, England Cricket Board had to deny 2001 when they came to Pakistan.
Sorry, start that again, please.
Do you think that Pakistani team and Pakistan is safe for cricket? Do you think that Pakistan safe is for cricket? Recently, if I talk about 2001, recently England Cricket Board denied to come Pakistan for Test race. But now you are in Pakistan. And what's your expectation of coming Test third match, recently held in Karachi as well?
Yeah, I've felt incredibly safe here. But, whether or not the precautions that have to go into every day of us touring here is sustainable, I'm not sure. That's not a question for me to answer. But me and the team and everyone touring with us have felt safe. But yeah, the sustainability of it is a question for someone else to answer.
One here and then last one here.
And Ben, you and Paz are changing the methodology of Test cricket, and as sarcastic people are calling that you both should not be allowed to play Test cricket because you both are changing the methodology of the Test cricket.
Oh, people saying we shouldn't be able to play?
Yeah, because
Heather.
you both are changing the methodology of Test cricket.
People saying we shouldn't play. Yeah, that's an interesting one. But yeah, no, I think it's, to be part of this team and people sort of talking about our team differently to other teams is great. It's something me and Brendan and Rob set out to do when we, took these jobs on, was just to change something in English cricket, to see if we could, I don't know, reinvent the thought process and how it's played, how it's thought about. You know, take a different narrative as to what Test cricket has been built upon in the last 100 years, pretty much. And there's nothing wrong with change. There's nothing wrong with going about it in a different way. And it just proves that you don't have to stick to what has been the way in which people have viewed it and how you should play, and people saying how you shouldn't do this, shouldn't do that. I think that's the big thing. Is certainly that's been a big talking point, is that a lot of if you can't do this, you shouldn't do that, you can't play like this, you can't play that shot, you need to do this, you need to do that. It's not the way in which we go about it with us. We give the freedom for everyone to go out and play in the way in which they want, whether that be with bat, with ball, and people want to be able to do that. They don't want to have any added pressures on their shoulders outside of what playing international cricket does, because there is a lot of pressures with that. So yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with doing what we're doing. But whether or not other teams decide that's the thing for them is not my place to say, and I don't have anything against other teams who decide if they want to stick playing the way that they're playing, because there are lots of successful teams around the world who play completely different to us. But what we will do is stick to the way in which we're going about it, because it has been successful. But at the same time, if we do have any blips along the road, we won't be changing the way we go about it, because we know that people want to watch us play.
Hey Stokesy, this is Behram Qazi from Grassroots Cricket. Firstly, congratulations on a series win. I wanted to ask you about Harry Brook. He's new onto the scene, and you've been his captain. In 3 Test matches, he scored 2 hundreds. This has been a breakthrough series for him, with 2 successive hundreds in 2 consecutive games. So talk to me about what it's been like captaining him, playing with him, working with him, and also how do you rate him as a batter?
Excuse me. Yeah, look, I think obviously the Harry's summer, last year was phenomenal. The runs that he scored for Yorkshire, the amount of hundreds he was scoring to then get the opportunity at the back end of the summer, and then obviously produce what he's produced out here in Pakistan so far is not a surprise to me. The expectation on his shoulders coming into this team because of how good he's been for Yorkshire was obviously huge, but I think that just shows that that kind of stuff just doesn't really affect him. He's a player whose technique is suited to all 3 formats. He wants to always look to be putting pressure back onto the opposition. God, I feel like I'm sick here. No. Sorry. Yeah. No, I'm alright. And yeah, he's won another game for England. Huge contribution last week, and the 100 he scored here was obviously massive for us getting that big lead. Yeah, he's a pretty simple lad to captain. Just gets about his business, loves his batting, wants to constantly improve, constantly work on it. So yeah, he's pretty easy bloke to have in your dressing room. Doesn't fuss too much and just wants to go out and score runs and win games of cricket.
In this game, you drew level with Baz with a number of 6s hit in Test cricket. Are you quite pleased to share that record with him for a little while before you break it?
I thought I'd gone past him. Yeah, I thought I needed one to go past him, but since since he came into the job, it's one thing that I've told him. I says, don't look at records, Baz, but that's the one record I'm after. That's the one I do know. But yeah, that's a little joke we had between. But yeah, I thought I'd gone past him, so I walked off feeling like walking in, and then he went, "Nah, you're level, boss." So I was brought back down to earth quite quickly.
Thank you.
Thanks guys.
And thank you very much as always on behalf of the England team.